Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine's Crafts. I hope you are well. We've got a beautiful card here showing you a couple of different techniques. It's nearly clean and simple. It's a lot of white with just that little hint of pink because I can't quite get myself to do total white. But we've got heat embossing on vellum. We're using vellum as a shaker. I don't know if you can see it on the light, but yeah, there is shaker elements in there. You could do coloured ones if that's too subtle for you. We've got this beautiful foliage in the corner and a double bow and the gem as well, and just that little hint of ribbon to add that extra texture. You could have embossed this piece if you wanted. There's so many different ways to add your texture and your dimension, and then a lovely subtle happy birthday across the bottom. Hope you like that, and that is my project for today. So this project is probably going to be a combination of a few different techniques. The one technique I'm going to do is we're going to do some heat embossing on some vellum. So I thought we'd do some white on white, and because we're doing white on white, we thought we'd try and make it to quite a clean and simple card, because I know these are really popular. We're just going to have a little pop of this gorgeous pink. We're not going to see it all. You could trim that down if you wanted to. Just see a little pop of pink. So the stamp I'm using is an all and create one. What's it called? Daisies and Others. It's really pretty. It's a double stamp set. So you've got this one here and then this one here. Now, when I got it out, I decided that's what I wanted to get. And I've had this a little while. And I didn't realise that there's words built into the stamp, and this one says, don't let anyone trample on your good vibes. But I didn't want that as part of the project, so I'll show you what I did. Because we're going to heat emboss onto vellum, first of all, I'm just going over it with my anti-static bag because I don't want the white embossing powder to stick where I don't want it. So there we go, just put that over first. Then I'm going to hold it down with my magnet. So then I'm going to get this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a frame around this. I'm just going to pop it. Oops, I've got a piece of something stuck there. I'm just going to pop it maybe about like that. So it's definitely off to the right hand side. And then I'm going to pick that up. Once I've picked that up, I'm going to move this over. Let me just I'll just put this piece of pink card underneath so you can see. So the sentiment is there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of masking tape, and I'm going to pop my masking tape at an angle just there so it covers up that bit of script, and also just there. Right, so that's covered up the script. So all I've got left is my flower. So then I've got a white pigment ink pad. Oops, a spare piece of it there, and I'm going to go over this. Now I did just re-ink this ink pad just before I started, so it is very juicy, so that's good. So hopefully I'll only need to do one inking. So the thing to remember, and I've forgotten to do this on so many occasions, not today but on previous ones, is now to remove that. And when I remove that, that means that this bit, apart from that bit which I missed, there you go, that bit of the stamp is perfectly clean. Now if you don't have any masking tape, all you need to do is just clean that off before you start. So let's move that out of the way, and then we can bring that over and we can stamp it onto the vellum. So like I said, this is a very juicy ink pad because I just used my scratch. I just re-inked it with my archival ink. You can re-ink until your ink pads get dirty. Something like white. Once your ink pad gets dirty, then you have to start get a new ink pad, but it will re-ink quite a few times. I'm going to lift that up. I'm just going to do it gently in case it isn't good enough. Oh, come on. This is a newish stamp, so it is just clinging to the vellum. Oh, that'll have to do because the vellum's just moved. Okay, but look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? You can't see it too much yet. I'm just going to close it down. Now, pigment ink pad, I've got a little bit of time to play around. I'm going to put this underneath again so that you can see. And then all I'm going to do, white embossing powder rather than a clear embossing powder, all over the top. And remember, we dusted it with the anti-static bag, so that should mean that it should more or less stick. Now it has just stuck a little bit to there, so all I need to do, although I cleaned it, maybe it's got a little bit oh, there's my final one. Maybe it's got a little bit of adhesive from the masking tape, but it's fine. We can just get rid of any spare bits. There we go. Tap off any bits and look at that. There we are. Right. Put the lid on. Always put your lid straight back on. All right, so now we just need to heat set that. I'm just going to put that underneath so that you can actually see. Right, heat gun, no different, just because it's on vellum. I'm off to heat it. I'll speed it up a little bit, but you can see what's going on. There you go. Did you see it travel once it starts to go? So there is my gorgeous not acetate, it's not acetate, is it? It's vellum. And I've created a frame. So I've just cut a piece of rectangular card. Now, I'll show you with this, what I actually did was I had my rectangles, and my rectangles, so these are from my previous signature collection. When I look at my rectangles, they're all too long and thin. So if I wanted, by the time I got one that was going to be high enough, look, it was coming right off here. So I knew a rectangle die wasn't going to work. So I wanted a square die. So what I did, was it this one? Yes, it was. So what I did was I cut it once and cut it just like that. And then I just moved the die over and cut it a second time, so it overlapped, and then it cut me a rectangle out. So you can, you know, even if you don't have the right proportions of rectangle, because that's quite an unusual size, just have a look at your squares and you can actually make it from your squares. So that is going to go over there. But before I do that, what I've actually done is I've got another one here, and I've put some shaker foam on. So shaker foam is absolutely brilliant. It's got quite a nice bit of depth. It's quite flexible, so if you're doing circles and things, you can go around corners. And yeah, but what you have to remember is you've got no gaps. Now, as you might have seen recently, I've had an amazing delivery from Sticks 2. One of the things they've sent me was these clear plastic beads, and it actually says perfect for shaker cards. So I thought that would be brilliant and would have a go. I think they'll make a brilliant bit for inside a shaker card. I did get a few other bits out, but you know what? I think I might just put the tiniest bit of glitter in, just to give it a spark. These these beads, these plastic beads, look amazing on hot glue. And I'm just going to do a tiniest pinch of iridescent sequins. Is that what they call it? Yeah. It's like chunky glitter. So once we've got that, now I have got myself a piece of card that is just about the same size as that, and put that on there. Now I could do this straight onto the card base, but the thing is, if I did that, I wouldn't know if I've lined it up right. So you know I always like to make my shaker elements separate. Now normally I'm doing them out of 2 pieces of acetate so that I can see through them. Today, as you can see, our shaker is vellum, so I'm just backing it with some white card, because it's going to be white card on the back of on the next layer. So let's just put that onto here, and if it overlaps at all, it should be hidden by the frame, but also I can just trim it down because no one's going to see it. Give it a good burnish before I tip it up, because that's where people sometimes forget, and then the glitter comes out. So there we go. And you can just see, I know it's quite subtle, but there you go. You can see the glitter behind there and the shakers. It's really subtle. So maybe you might want to go with a coloured sequin. Yeah, that would work really well, but it's just a bit of something to give it a bit of a lift. Now what I've done on here with my frame is I put a little bit of red liner, because I thought that would grip nice and quickly. So like I said, this is a clean and simple, so I didn't want to go with a coloured sequin, because I thought a coloured sequin was going to take away from that clean and simple look. So what I want to do is I want to put this onto here, and I want it to sort of, this bit to be within the frame. So we can just pop it. There we go. Now, isn't that absolutely perfect? Now, just here, I can see a little bit, tiniest bit showing, and that's going to annoy me. So let's just trim that tiny little bit off. There's always room for adjustment. I think I need a smaller pair of scissors just to trim that. No one's going to see it. Just trim it away under there. There we go. There we are, that's better. Just to make it look perfect. So that's going to look lovely. And that I'm going to double white. Because like I said, it's clean and simple. So we're going to pop that onto white. So we've just got the tiniest little border showing around the edge. Oh yeah, you can see, look, I haven't got that quite centered up, but no one's going to see it once it's done. My craft room gets quite warm sometimes. I can glue and then it'll scab over quickly. Okay, so we're going to glue that on. This is just regular multi-purpose card, nothing fancy at all. I'm going to pop that on here. And by using the tacky glue, gives me time to pick that up, have a look, and then I can really just press it down and hold it once I'm happy. Look at that. Now, it is quite pale at the moment, but that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do then is we're going to pop that onto a pink layer. Can you see just there? So let's pop that on, and then we can put this side to dry for a minute. What I could do even is I could even put a stamping block over the top just to hold it down while we do the base. So I can see that, I can really see that glitter coming through now. It's starting to show a little bit, just giving that hint. There we go. Let's just press that down. I love wet glue for this. You can be so subtle and such a tiny border. And remember, if you want to, you can always take out your centres. So what we could do now is if I reach over, I've got a stamp block. So if I put that, oops, let's make sure I've not nudged it. Yeah, I'm going to move that up there. I'm going to put the stamp block on top. And I'm going to put my glue on top. And that's just going to hold it while we do the base. Now, here's the base. And it was card for an 8-inch envelope, which I've just trimmed down. And what I've got is I've got a piece of white and a piece of pink. Now, I've deliberately gone with a slightly bigger border on here, and then obviously, as you know, I go for a bigger border on my card. You could make this card a lot smaller if you want. I know my American viewers, thank you for watching, but I know you often do a lot smaller cards than we do here in the UK, but that's a problem. That's not a problem, sorry. You can adapt this really easily. Okay, so we can put that onto here. Although I've already learnt that it's really quite pricey even in the UK for sending cards. So yes, so let's just give that a little bit of a burnish with my stamping pressure tool. And you'll see it's about, it's just less than 1/4 of an inch added on altogether all the way around, but I just think that looks really nice. Now we're going to put that on there, but before I put that on there, I've put a couple of pieces of red liner on the back because I've got some lace. Now you see there it's not symmetrical on this side, but that's very deliberate. So what I'm doing, I'm going to take them off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this lace and I'm going to pop it on one piece of red liner there, and I'm going to come down to there. There we go. So it's caught on there. Let's see if I can get it roughly even. So this is where we are, very roughly. Let's go. That looks about right. And then, does that look about right? I think it does. On the back, just there. Let's just trim these little excess bits off. So there we go. So now I've just created a little bit of interest. Now the only thing is, if I put that on, it's going to be a little bit wonky. So I'm going to go back in with my sticks to foam tape, and we're just going to pop this on. Let's get some pieces of this. So that now, do I want it on that way or that way? If that's coming over like that, I don't think it matters. Let's go. Actually, I know what, I'm going to go that way and you'll see why in a minute. So let's take the back off here. Done that, we're going to go in with a little bit of wet glue. Otherwise, when it touches because it's really good adhesive. Also extends the longevity of the adhesive. We don't want things falling apart within, you know, days of you giving them to someone. I've never had a problem with this foam tape falling apart, but it just means you're absolutely certain. So let's, yep, got my card the right way round. And then that's going on there. Now, if ever you've trimmed your own card blank and when you come to put it on, you've not got the measurements right, try and line up that side and that side, because you can always trim a little bit more off this side once you've done. Obviously, you can't trim off there because it's where the bend is. So yeah, if it's not quite right, there are ways around it. Okay, so in a minute, that's going to go over there like that. But clean and simple, but a little bit too much, isn't it? So I've cut myself a sentiment saying happy birthday in the pink. Let's just pop that on there. We need our glue press. So it fits. This is pure coincidence that this fits exactly the size of the frame, and that, which I love. That was a really, really happy accident. But that also will help me with my centering up. You know, sometimes these things just flow. So yeah, it's nice. There's plenty of white. And I looked and I thought, should I do it all white? And if you did it all white, it would look beautiful as a wedding card, wouldn't it? Or a christening card or something like that. But I just, you know me, I try to do my clean and simple. But every now and again, I just have to just put in a little bit of colour because, well, that's how I like to work. Let's find some tweezers, like that, bring that down, and I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually use that frame. Gone from one end to the other, so it is a little bit short on that end, but these are the same sizes, so it's just I've centered the die cut. It's just the way it's being cut out. There we go. So that's just adding a bit of color. And the other thing I want to do is I had this die. So this die, wherever it's gone, was from one of my signature collections because I love foliage, and so I've cut it out twice and I'm going to pop it on the card, but I think it's a bit much at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this bit off. I can always use that bit in another one. I'm going to do it onto there, and then I'm going to pop these on here. Can you see it just fits that a little bit better? And now when I'm doing that, it's overlapping, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that one off. So let's cut that berry off there, and let's cut that one off there. There we go. It's just going to sit better. So I want these to go to the edge. That can go over the top. I want that to go to the edge. So let's just put a little bit of glue on the back of that one. Oops. So let's put that like that. And then this one is going to go down there like that. If you want to take any of these little bits in, you can always add those bits in as well. Don't want that there? No, I don't think I do. On this one, not on this occasion, but I shall definitely keep those. So once we've got that, I just need to dot off a little bit of that because I want to use some hot glue and it won't go. Just let me dot that. Right, okay, so I think what I'll actually do before I go any further is I'm going to stick this down. Oh, I was going to do it with red liner, wasn't I? But I've done it now with wet glue. I know it's going over the ribbon, but tacky glue will stick ribbon, so it will stick to it. I probably shouldn't. I should have done a better glue than a different glue, but never mind. I've done it now. We've done it now. Just hold it for 1 minute. I've got a little bit of glue leakage there, so I can just. There we go. Right, mention my hot glue. Oops. This is nice and warm. Oh, I need a new glue stick, and then that's another thing that came from Sticks 2 yesterday was my glue sticks. So what I'm going to do is I've got a white bow. I've just tied these myself. A little pink bow and a pink ribbon. So what I think I'll do is I'll put, oops, just warm that up so it sticks. There we go. It doesn't fall out if you do that. Let's put a little bit of hot glue there. I did put a little bit of tacky glue onto my bows just so that they wouldn't come unravelled. Where's my white bow there? A little bit of hot glue to do the white bow. At a slightly different angle. And then the tiniest little bit of hot glue on there to take the gem. There we go. Now I'm thinking I possibly do want a bit more foliage. No. I could do that bit there, couldn't I? There we go. And that is, whoops, today's card. I can see a little bit of glue strings. So now I can see why I put these two at this side, because obviously a lot of the foliage in the bows have hidden it at that side, but you can still see them and it goes across there. But there we go. Quite a clean and simple vellum shaker card instead of an acetate shaker card, but I just think that's really, really pretty. You can leave this as big or as small. I could have gone quite small on that and not had any other white vellum, but I just thought it looked nice like that. Yep, I'm going to need a box because I've got a couple of different heights on there. Oh, there we go. That was just sticky. It needed just tackying down. There we go. You've got some height on there and on there. Then you've got the bows. So yeah, it's entirely up to you. You could have gone in here if you don't want to do clean and simple. You could have gone on the coloured on the back with your alcohol pens. Remember, embossing powder is a resist, so you could come over here with your watercolours and know that it won't taint the white. There's lots of different ways if you wanted a bit more colour on there. But there you go. That is today's project, and I hope you like that one. So I shall leave it there, and till next time, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me just unplug my hot glue gun. There we go. And I will be back very soon with another project for you. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to click on any of the links down in the description, and thank you to everyone who has clicked or made a contribution to my channel recently. I really do appreciate every one of you. And as usual, we'll have a link to a video or a playlist on this side, and we will have a link to the subscribe button on here. And yep, my channel is growing beautifully. Thank you so much for every one of you that has done that. So I will leave it there and say goodbye to you for now, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Take care, and thank you for watching, and have a good afternoon. Bye for now.